Update. Would I be the a-hole for refusing to babysit my boyfriend's daughter while her mother gets chemotherapy? Original post. I'm very angry at the moment, so forgive any mistakes. My boyfriend, male mid-30s, has a daughter Gina, 10, with his ex-wife, Tess. And the ex-wife is fighting a very aggressive form of brain cancer. Now, a bit of backstory. Tess and I never did get on well. I met my boyfriend while he was in the process of getting divorced, and I think she's always thought we had an affair long before then. She hates me a lot, and so does Gina. I've been called a homewrecker, a slut, and other nice things ever since I first met them. Now, my boyfriend is usually very quick to shut down their BS, but he adores his daughter and still cares about his ex-wife as they've been together 15 years and been friends since their childhood. Ever since the diagnosis, he's been the one driving ex-wife to medical appointments and such, and has asked me the favor to look after his daughter while he's with Tess. He knows what a huge favor it is, and has thanked me profusely every time, and I know how much he needs my help. But everything went downhill a few hours ago when I was asked to bring Gina back to her mother's house. Tess started saying I must be glad she's dying, because I can keep boyfriend to myself now. She said I must be happy because now I get to keep her daughter and pretend she's mine. She said a lot of ugly things as well, and boyfriend didn't do anything to correct her. I stayed really quiet because, to be frank, I was incredibly shocked. Still am, to be honest. When we got home, I lost it with him and told him I wouldn't keep his daughter any longer. Not if he allowed Tess to talk to me in such a manner. He said I'd be a huge a-hole if I went through with this because Tess has just found she's only got few weeks left, and not the months she'd previously thought. Is he right? Would I be the a-hole if I stopped babysitting his daughter? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Oh boy, you're in a difficult situation for sure. Do you love this man? You know that with this man comes his child, right? And how you behave now will determine how his child responds to you in the future. Presuming you want a future with your boyfriend after this. You are not obligated to sit and take crap, no matter where it is coming from. Do you understand though, this likely isn't a real her. She's literally grappling with life and death, not to mention a likely mind/mood-altering brain tumor that could have been there for years. And the amount of pain she must be in emotionally, knowing she won't be there for her daughter must be driving her crazy. Ever seen the movie Stepmom? This is your choice though. You don't have to take it. You would not be the a-hole to step away altogether. Just don't expect to stay in that relationship if you refuse to watch his daughter. This feels like a deal breaker for you both. I only want to add that it appears she was disrespectful to Opie before the diagnosis. This should be in highlights. It's unfortunate terminal illness does not make patients saints. More of her true self showed us all. But seriously, Opie, you will never be happy with this man. Gina won't let you. Move on. I understand that both Tess and Gina and even the ex-husband are hurting. Brain cancer is a terrible condition. However, Tess did not like Opie before the disease, and she made that clear in what she said. Gina at 10 will equate being nice to Opie as being disloyal to her mom. Gina at 10, losing her mom, should be first in her father's life for many years to come. That is why for the peace of everyone and for a happier life, Opie should move on. There are no a-holes here. This is so far above AITA's pay grade. A dying mother lashing out at the most convenient target. And brain cancer? This is 100% affecting her ability to filter and regulate what she says. A partner watching the mother of his child, someone he once loved, die. He's with you and doesn't want to make this harder on anyone. A child caught in the middle of all this. And you, with your very valid feelings of being unfairly treated. You need to find a grief therapist now. One that you can talk to, one that boyfriend and daughter can go to. This is going to be a very rough ride. No a-holes here. Nope. Boyfriend is definitely an a-hole for not standing up for her and allowing that kind of treatment. Tess has been rude even before she found out she only has a few weeks. Tess has an aggressive form of brain cancer. I presume she had a tumor or granulomas before she was officially diagnosed. Maybe for a long time. I know AITA is the place to come for snap judgments and moral desserts, but a person with brain cancer is not the enemy you want her to be, even if she was aggressive before her diagnosis. Not the a-hole, but I don't see your relationship surviving much longer. I would nope out of that toxic mess. Boyfriend is numb and has no boundaries. Stepkid is using you as an emotional tampon. And the ex, if she passes, you will be fighting a ghost with an angry preteen. Save yourself, Opie. Healing wishes to all. Edit/update. So, thanks. I've read all your comments and thought about all the points you made. I will continue to look after the kid. To be honest, I think I never had any actual intentions of stopping. In my anger, I just wanted my boyfriend to listen to me for a moment, and I think I need to have a chat with my boyfriend. I haven't seen him yet since the fight because he's had to go back at his exes shortly after. We'll see. Maybe I'll do an update once things settle down. Thank you again. I really appreciate your help. Edit. Thanks for taking the time to share your opinions, folks. I am very surprised and grateful and appreciate everyone's insight. I'm a bit more level-headed at the moment, so I'll take the time to expand on some points I've seen brought up in the comments. No, my boyfriend and I did not have an affair. I can't believe I have to say this. Their divorce was almost finalized when we met, and the reason they divorced was that they'd been growing more and more distant, to the point where ex-wife had an extramarital affair and boyfriend didn't even care. I trust him because he's shown me again and again the truthfulness of his words. His daughter was always going to be part of my life. I knew that since the very beginning. My boyfriend and his daughter have always been very, very close. We sat down a while ago, after ex's diagnosis, and talked it out. There was no doubt his daughter was always coming to live with us after his mother's death. And one thing, I love my boyfriend, and so I care deeply about the people he loves too, which include his daughter. I care for the kid a lot, and have tried and was always going to keep trying to build a relationship with her. It's the daughter who wants nothing, and I repeat, nothing to do with me. I am under no delusions about what our future will be like. The kid has always been my boyfriend's priority, and rightfully so, and I know she's going to need her dad a lot after her mother passes. I also know my boyfriend is going to be grieving heavily, and was ready to support him fully. My boyfriend was able to just stand there and watch as his ex-wife spouted so much anger and sheer hatred at me that I was struck dumb about. I have never seen anything like it, and he just stood there, watching me in tears as this woman kept yelling and yelling. He didn't do a thing, not even guide me out of the room. It felt much like a betrayal, to be honest, and the fact that he was not even a bit understanding afterwards has made me reconsider pretty much everything. I'm sorry, but I cannot excuse completely ex-wife for her past behavior. Boyfriend says she's always been very headstrong and jealous, and he never found anything weird with her. But her behavior started changing around 6 months ago, and we all started noticing then. Now for the full update. I don't know whether someone even remembers my original post, but I received lots of great advice in the comments, and I figured I owe you guys an update. Lots has happened in the meanwhile, so I'll try to keep it short. First, I sat my boyfriend down for a chat as soon as I saw him again, which was the day following our discussion. He agreed that we needed to talk, and told me he was sorry for calling me an a-hole, that he had been so much in shock that he hardly even remembered the whole fight in the first place. I told him I could understand that, and told him I love him and wanted to be there for him and support him throughout this ordeal. I also added, though, that I would need him to be able to stick up for me in the future, even against his daughter, who would be grieving and in a lot of pain. I told him to think about it and let me know, and also said that I would keep his daughter for as long as he needed me to, independently from his answer. He then asked me to marry him on the spot. No ring or anything, but he was crying and it was very sweet. So now we're engaged and relatively happy. Second, Tess passed away a week later. I followed your suggestion and didn't see her again. Gina is living full-time with us now, and I have what I think are, if not good, then hopeful news. 10 days after her mother's death, she broke down in hysterics because she wanted her mom. It was an incredibly sad moment. She kept yelling insults at me and crying and again yelling at me. I was in tears because seeing a child in that much pain is truly heart-wrenching. So I intervened before my fiancé could say anything, told Gina that I couldn't bear to see her so distressed and that I would go stay with a friend until she felt a bit better, that I loved her and just wanted her to be less sad. She ran to me, hugged me, and begged me to not leave her. We cried together, and I think we might be on the road to healing. That is to say, thank you Reddit folks for your feedback. You're awesome. So happy to read the last paragraph of your update. It's incredibly sad for all of you. And after what Taz put you through, even though she must have been very distressed to be dying, leaving such a young kid without a mother, you're incredibly strong and good to the core to still handle it the way you are. I hope you manage to build a strong relationship with Gina and have a happy marriage. Not to mention that it was brain cancer, which, like memory loss illnesses, affects a person's personality as they degrade and the disease progresses. I feel so bad for them that they may never know if those words were the disease or how she actually felt. Both are awful. In her original post, Opie covers that. She said something along the lines that Tess didn't like her and made it known to her, accusing Opie and her boyfriend, now fiancé, of having an extramarital affair since they hooked up at the tail end of Tess's and the boyfriend's divorce. It wasn't until 6 months before the post that Tess got malicious about it, and it was just a short while later that Tess was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So it appears that Tess always felt that way about Opie. The cancer just exacerbated it. Opie, please check if there's a kid griefs group in your area. It helps many kids to realize they are not alone in this. And if she wants, make sure she has a good picture of her mom in her room. Make sure she knows she can talk of her. And look that she gets enough mementos of her mother. Sometimes women have different thoughts about what they would like to have from their moms than men. Better keep few things more than not enough, if possible. Good luck to all of you. I second this, and I'd also like to recommend you look into something a little more alternative like art therapy if it's available, and if she's maybe slower to open up. I did art therapy as a kid when some rough stuff happened, and it was immediately helpful. And I've also known people who got a lot out of things like equine therapy. Kids sometimes need a slightly different approach. It might take a little time to find what jives with her, but it's worth it. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not asking my sister if I should adopt? This will require some backstory. I, 27 female, and my husband, 26 male, have been married for a little over 3 years. 2 years ago, we began trying to get pregnant. We then moved on to attempting to get pregnant through fertility treatments. When none of this worked, we decided we wanted to pursue adoption. All my husband's siblings are adopted, and it was something we had been thinking about pursuing even before our fertility issues, but now it seemed like the best route for us to pursue. We did lots of research, including attending seminars and contacting multiple different agencies. We ended up deciding on an agency we liked. Since then, we have been going through the home study process and beginning stages of joining the agency, and recently we reached the final stage before we can begin the matching process. Throughout all this, my parents and sisters have been supportive, but clearly aren't sure how to talk to me about it. I have tried not to overwhelm conversations with talking about it, but it is a huge part of my life at the moment. Though I have tried to be especially sensitive to one of my older sisters who is infertile, as I know she has struggled in the past. Well, over the last few months, I haven't heard from this sister at all. She's known for being hard to get in contact with, so I tried not to read into it too much. But I was aware she was talking to my parents and our other sister. I finally heard from her yesterday when she called me. During the call, she expressed that it is hard to hear about the adoption stuff, which I understand, but then she started telling me that she and my other sister have been frustrated, that they were not asked for their opinions before we started the adoption process. She then proceeded to say we always come to just tell them what we are doing and already have our minds made up, so they feel they can't share their thoughts and things. She went on to question whether we understand how much harder raising an adopted child is, rather than one you give birth to, and asking if we aren't too young to be doing this. I was honestly shocked to hear all this. I have never had a type of relationship with my sisters where I go to them for advice. So hearing that they don't understand why they weren't part of my decision process made no sense to me. So am I the a-hole for not asking their opinion? Extra context. My sister's husband is adopted and struggles greatly with it. They're considering going through adoption themselves one day though, so to be clear, they're not against adoption. Now for the top comments. As an adopted kid myself, and I almost never see people actually listening to adopted people when this topic comes up, your sisters are absolutely delusional. And honestly, probably not very good people. I 100% believe someone who would treat an adopted kid differently than a bio kid, and that's what she's saying, is a trash person. Not the a-hole. And look into the kid's book The Day You Were Born by Jamie Lee Curtis. Fantastic kid's book about adoption. And never lie to your kid about where they came from. Never get weird if they have questions about their bio family, etc. Thank you so much for the book recommendation. I will definitely get it. We would never lie to our future child about their adoption. It is a part of their story, and they have every right to know. Adoptive parent here, and I just want to jump onto Pineapple's excellent comment and help reinforce it. If you adopt those who are going to be your kids and they'll have their own story, it's hugely important that they are brought up knowing that story too. As you go through the process, look into whether you have pediatricians in your area who specialize in adoption medicine. Ours did, and was an excellent source of support and referrals to other specialists and therapists when our kids were growing up. Not the a-hole. If, when, and how you and your partner decide to grow your family is 100% up to you and your partner. Other people can have, and I suppose share their opinions on your choices, but you are in no way obligated to seek out their opinions or factor their opinions into your decision. I am not sure why your sister is taking your decision so personally, but what she's saying to you does not really make sense. And I would not take what the sister said about your other sister agreeing with her at face value. No matter if/when/how you grow your family, people are going to have thoughts about it. Anyone who is obnoxious or pushy about it, feel free to distance yourself from them. But if there are people butting in that you want to maintain contact with, you need to set boundaries. First time someone questions your decision, I hear your concerns and understand that you may have a difference of opinion on this matter. However, husband and I have made this decision together, and we are not interested in debating the matter with others. We do not need you to support or agree with our decision, but we do need you to accept that it is our decision to make. If you don't want to be included in updates as we move forward, we will respect that. Second time they question your decision, you made your thoughts on this clear when we last spoke about it. However, as I told you before, our decision is final, and we are not interested in debating this with others. Anytime after that, we are not going to discuss this with you. If you cannot respect our decision, we will need to keep our distance from you going forward.